I thought helping my ex's mom with her overgrown hedges would be the quickest job of my weekend. Grab the trimmer, clean up the yard, collect my payment, and leave. Simple. But halfway through, she stepped onto the porch, looked at me with a tired smile, and said something that completely caught me off guard. "Please, stop calling me ma'am. It makes me feel 80. Just call me Sarah." I laughed, thinking it was just a joke. I had no idea that one sentence would pull me into a family secret that would change how I saw her forever. If you've ever wondered how one small act of kindness can change someone's life, stay with me until the end. My name is Ethan, and I'm 28 years old. A year before all this happened, my girlfriend Emily and I ended our 3-year relationship. There wasn't cheating or screaming. We had simply grown in different directions. The breakup hurt, but eventually we both moved on. One Saturday morning, my landscaping business received a request from an address that looked strangely familiar. When I checked the name, I froze. Sarah Thompson, Emily's mother. For a moment, I considered declining the job. Then I remembered something my father always said. Business is business. Be professional. So I accepted. When I arrived, Sarah opened the front door wearing gardening gloves and an apologetic smile. "Ethan, I wasn't sure you'd take the job." "It's no problem, ma'am." She laughed. "There it is already." "What?" "Ma'am, please stop. Just call me Sarah." I smiled awkwardly. "It'll take some getting used to." She nodded. "I know." The backyard looked like it hadn't been maintained in months. The hedges were taller than I remembered. As I started trimming them, I noticed Sarah sitting quietly on the patio with a cup of coffee. She looked exhausted. Not physically, emotionally. After an hour, she walked over carrying a bottle of cold water. "You've always worked hard." "Thanks. You know." And she hesitated. The divorce became final 2 months ago. I nearly dropped the hedge trimmer. I didn't know. We didn't tell many people. I remembered Emily's parents, always acting like the perfect couple. Apparently, appearances could be very convincing. "I'm sorry." She smiled sadly. Sometimes endings are healthier than pretending. That sentence stayed with me. When I finished the yard, she looked around in amazement. I forgot my backyard could actually look this nice. It's amazing what a few hours can do. She insisted I stay for lemonade before leaving. We sat outside talking about everything except Emily. Movies, travel, books, her dream of turning the backyard into a peaceful garden. For the first time, I realized she wasn't just my ex's mom. She was simply another person trying to rebuild her life. Over the next few months, she hired my company a few more times. Installing flower beds, repairing a fence, planting trees. Every visit stayed professional. Yet our conversations became longer. She laughed more often. She seemed lighter every week. One afternoon, I noticed an unopened stack of mail sitting on the kitchen counter. "Everything okay?" She sighed. "I've never handled finances before. My husband did all that. It feels overwhelming." I spent 30 minutes helping her organize bills and set up automatic payments. She looked embarrassed. "I'm sorry to bother you." "It's not a bother. You've helped me more than you know." Weeks later, she surprised me. The backyard had transformed. Flowers everywhere. Bird feeders. A small fountain. "It looks beautiful," I said. She smiled proudly. I finally finished something on my own. That smile looked different. Not because she needed someone to rescue her. Because she discovered she didn't. One afternoon, Emily unexpectedly pulled into the driveway while I was replacing a broken gate. For a second, everything became awkward. She climbed out of her car. "You still do work here?" "Just landscaping." Emily looked around. "Mom, the yard looks incredible." Sarah laughed. You should thank Ethan. Emily walked over. I guess I never properly thanked you for helping Mom after the divorce. I shrugged. She did the hard part. Emily smiled. You always were a decent guy. That simple sentence erased months of uncomfortable memories. There was no jealousy, no resentment, just respect. As I packed my tools, Sarah handed me my payment. Then she added something extra, a handwritten thank you card. Inside it read, "You didn't just fix my yard. You reminded me that kindness still exists. I'll never forget that." I kept that card, not because it was romantic, because it reminded me why I started my business. Sometimes people don't hire you because they need trimmed hedges. Sometimes they're looking for hope. A year later, Sarah's garden won our town's most beautiful backyard award. She invited me to see it. Families walked through the garden taking pictures. Children laughed around the fountain. She stood beside me and smiled. Remember what this place looked like the first day you came? I do. I thought my life was over. And now? She looked at the flowers blooming everywhere. I think it was just beginning. As I drove home that evening, I realized something. The hedges hadn't been the only thing that needed trimming. Sometimes grief grows quietly. Fear grows quietly. Loneliness grows quietly. And all it takes is one person willing to show up with kindness to help someone see the sunlight again. That's a lesson I'll carry with me for the rest of my life.